Day, the main character in this film, wakes up after having gone for a well-deserved nap after having been stuck with a giant croc at the bottom of the swimming pool for 6 days straight. Everybody knows how dangerous a giant carnivore ready to death roll each of your limbs off is, but few people know how important a good power nap in between your daily activities is. Clearly, Day here is one step ahead. He must have been inspired by the countless old stories describing how gladiators in ancient Rome would occasionally go for a nap after instructing the lions, tigers, and other generous human-eating monsters to take a break for them to regain their strength. Oddly, this croc is a bit more challenging to reason with than expected, but it's nothing an empty aluminium basket couldn't fix. To understand how this guy ended up in this situation, we'll have to go back 6 days. That's right, it isn't me who just spoiled the first half of this film, it was the film itself. After seeing a random woman covered in random clown makeup taking a seat on a random red sofa underwater, we cut to the pool deck where a movie production is wrapping up. Day, the handsome male lead who is nothing but a technician and apparently financially ruined, but naturally gifted with peak male genetics and a beautiful girlfriend, is ordered to check the malfunctioning lights near the pool. Doing his job, he is surprised by his lovely girlfriend, who joins the spectacle bringing in their dog Lucky, who apparently has a final scene in this film they're shooting. They meet up in secrecy, do lovey-dovey things, are surprised by their friend, venture back outside, finally shoot the incredibly epic slow-mo shot of their dog jumping over a bunch of random pipes, and boom, the main story finally begins. We cut to the next day. The shoot is over and only Day is left behind. His final job is to clean up the set, but decides to go for a well-deserved break first. My man. While he is floating around, enjoying the sunburn he is currently catching, we see how his friend pulls the lever to drain the water off the pool. What could be a sick joke you pull on one of your best friends to go viral isn't one in this film. His friend, being the nice guy that he is, comes to the poolside, warns him that he should get out of the water, and wishes him his best wishes. He is leaving the country for 3 months and won't be around during that time. They tells him that he is supposed to help him clean up, but as he has to catch his flight, he will cover his part in exchange for a pizza. That's right. They say bye to each other, and Day, being in the middle of a now draining pool with literally no ladder on either side, apparently thinks it would be best to relax a bit longer. As he floats around some more, with the water clearly draining at rapid speed, he is eventually woken up by his dog. Realizing that he f***ed up, he paddles over to the poolside and attempts to get out of it. Not being able to pull himself up as he hoped he could, and not realizing that wet clothes are pretty heavy, he decides to bury his nails into the protruding light fixture, offering much better grip and strength for a grown man to pull himself out of a death trap. Usually pain is a good indicator to stop doing something. Well, anyway, still stuck, but finally realizing this 50-pound wardrobe pulling him back is of no help, he gets rid of it and puts together a grappling hook to fish for his phone. Now, grappling for the phone, 2 insane things happen. First, the phone starts ringing, vibrating like a, Seeing the phone just about to fall over the edge, realizing that this is the final moment of his tremendous suffering, he witnesses his dog kind of hanging himself. It's a bad timing, Lucky. But the dog or the phone? That's the question. Well, ask one of these kids and you already got the answer. Day, carrying his heart at the right spot though, speeds over to his dog, rescues him, and proves once again that dog lives matter. But the action doesn't stop here. Nope. Just as he sees the phone plummet into the pool, it is stopped by a thin cord that is really just the cable holding it up. He, clearly thinking this is a gift from God, speeds back to the other side hoping to catch the phone in time. And he does. But for some reason, even being in this position, he can't figure out how to get a hold of it. He fiddles around with it for what feels like an eternity until it drops into the water and dies. I'm not gonna lie, friends, this whole scene, paired with 200 BPM background music, has been more stressful than my girlfriend's expectations for her birthday. Isn't the pizza guy on his way? I mean, didn't this guy literally have his friend order a pizza here like 20 minutes ago? Wouldn't it make more sense to just wait for that guy to come and help us out? Well, yes, thanks for pointing that out, Captain Obvious, but then this film would be a short film, right? And wouldn't generate box office revenue. It's the equivalent of an A+ minute YouTube video that allow for mid-roll. Now let me mention the sort of obvious thing that may not be entirely obvious. This phone, connected to an electrical outlet vibrating so hard it literally travels over the edge of the pool, dropping down, would have killed this guy if the water was still as high as 1 hour ago. There's plenty of people dying every single year by using their phones in their bathtub while they charge it until they drop it. It is one thing to have your phone drop onto your forehead at 2 a.m. in the morning, trying to get that last dopamine hit, immediately followed by an inner voice calling you, but it's a whole different thing using it while bathing and charging it at the same time. If his friend wanted to kill him, I mean, there is no way he would have been caught. This is actually a pretty amazing technique to actually murder. Okay, let's count the stupid decisions so far. Not getting out of a pool with no ladders the moment you've been told the drain has been activated. Ignoring the pain caused by lifting yourself until... Ignoring the fact that a pizza guy should arrive in literally just a few minutes. What could possibly happen next? Immediately afterwards, this guy thinks clogging the drainage would be his next best choice. He dives down, does his deed, has his chain get stuck somehow and almost drowns. But what is worse than drowning? Missing the pizza guy that just happens to arrive at that moment. Of course, with water being virtually intransparent, it would be impossible to see a grown man at the bottom of this pool fighting for his life with oxygen bubbles resurfacing every 2 seconds. The pizza guy, unable to locate the intended recipient of the pizza, contacts Day's friend, informs him of the situation, and then leaves the pizza on the side. And while Day is still struggling to free himself, displaying his Olympic ability to hold his breath, the pizza guy, who in the meantime arrived, made a phone call, walked around the pool, and back, is now already starting the engine of his bike again. That's right. He should really study the complex chain mechanisms he seems to enjoy hanging on his pants. You know? Now, with the pizza guy having left the chat, the phone dead, the pizza out of reach, and the dog still barking, there is hardly any help left to expect. Except, of course, literally anyone who knew Day's last location, like his friend, his girlfriend, and the few dozen colleagues he worked with for the last few days. But that is not what this movie intends to evoke, of course. No, this is a Thai film, therefore thousands of drama layers paired with slow-mo shots are essential. I know it, I've lived there for 5 years. Now the next section proves that, my friends. Day, still cruising around, probably catching skin cancer by now, is surprised by his lovely girlfriend. Now, I'm not sure how this guy can sleep under these circumstances, but it probably doesn't help the following scene. As she notices that her lover is sound asleep, floating inside an inescapable pool of water inside an abandoned building, she thinks this would be the right timing to be funny. Yeah. That's right, my friends. She climbs up the diving platform, gets ready, and just as she leaps from the platform, is surprised by her boyfriend's warning, slips, hits her head, and falls into the pool in slow-mo. Yep, what did I tell you? As she drops into the pool, completely unconscious of course, she is saved by Day, who helps her with the floating gummy thing. But things can always get worse, right? Well, this is especially indicated by the following rain shower and the massive alligator that suddenly appears out of nowhere, strolls around the pool, and then kind of drops into the basin. Not sure what these animals are on, but they are kind of weird, man. For some reason, the gator does not attack our two characters though. Instead, we cut to the next day with the pool completely dried out. While he is taking care of the GF, he finds a pregnancy test in her pocket, adding another layer of drama that we have been expecting. Now, trying to treat her wound, he looks for appropriate tools to do so, ignores the more or less dry fabric he's wearing, and instead finds the gator cosplaying a pearl oyster. I don't think I need to explain why this is weird and a stupid idea. But I guess with the filthy duct tape retrieved now and the dangers of losing a limb barely escaped, Day treats his girlfriend and then proceeds opening the drainage cover using her necklace. Now that for once is not a bad idea, but based on the first half we can be sure that this will only lead to another questionable action, right? As he successfully opens the hatch, he turns around, goes back to his patient, while the gator in the background makes it into the drainage system itself. For some reason, Day, who doesn't seem to worry about turning his back towards this savage animal, is bummed out by that as well. In my book, that is a good thing to happen, no? This is the time to close the hatch and eliminate threat number 1. You see, Day is really curious where this drainage system leads to, so he decides to hop into this very narrow pipe structure housing an alligator to find out. And while he makes it through without encountering the gator, however that is possible, he emerges on the other side, breaks through the hatch obstructing his way, and gets to find himself inside a sort of exit. But it's locked, so He tries to break through though, sees the reflection of the gator, which is now back inside the pool, approaching his unconscious girlfriend from weird angles. Yep, should have closed the hatch after going through it. He rushes back, gets back inside the pool, and after swinging the 700-pound animal out of his way, he ferociously, and without any mercy, starts attacking it with invisible defense charms. Oh, and she also wakes up a little bit later during that day. It's kind of important for, narrative purposes, yeah. The following night, after a string telephone magically falls into the pool from nowhere, we get a random romantic clip of the two having a heartfelt conversation, clearly not being bothered by the nocturnal hunter next spy. Seriously, who comes up with that stuff? After the convo, and after their dog Lucky somehow manages to drop in the pizza, the same pizza the equally hungry dog sat in front of for 3 days now, they have dinner. Yeah, I am sure the direct sunlight for 3 days hitting the pizza and the counterbalance of occasional heavy rain showers must have kept this pizza in perfect conditions to enjoy. And don't get me started on the 32 degrees Celsius average temperature during the day, keeping the pizza warm. I mean, that's amazing. He takes a seat next to her and the two have a beautiful and cozy dinner under the light-polluted sky of Bangkok. It's beautiful. The next day, on the 4th day of being trapped, they is in need of his diabetes medications his friend had put onto the table off the pool deck. He seems delirious and looks like he will pass out soon, but the following night it looks like he's back to normal health again. They also suddenly see a bunch of gator eggs inside a freshly built nest using virtual tree branches. I'm pretty sure that gators are pretty defensive about their habitat. Also, these creatures don't typically actively hunt, but wait until prey is stupid enough to come close. Yeah, no comments there. The next day, after having built a makeshift trap covering the drainage hole with a blanket, they pretend to be dead, has the gator walk across it and fall into it. They close the hatch and are saved. The reason why they do that is because they're hungry and there are eggs lying around. Using the magic wand from before and his glasses, they make a fire, cook the eggs, and are fed well enough to endure the final arc of this film. In order to get Day's medicine, the pair is pressured into swapping places with the gator again though. They remove the block off the drainage system, and sure enough, the gator comes right through as if it was waiting for this to happen, which, with her eggs above, actually makes some sense, as these animals are very protective of their offsprings. Just bad they have been eaten, right? Well, as the gator tries to find her dead family, our two characters, of course with some dramatic slow-mo shots, make it successfully into the drainage system, close the hatch behind them, and make it to the safe place they had found a few days prior. Using a twisted wire, he tries fishing for the syringe. The tactic he uses is actually pretty smart. He first pushes a soft cloth underneath the table, which he then will use as a damped spot for the syringe to fall onto, and then pull towards him. As he proceeds though, the syringe eventually hits the hard concrete before he gets to it, and breaks up on impact. It's a bad day for Day, I guess. But of course, this being a Thai film, this scene was just another layer of drama, making it appear like everything is lost. Now the two immediately afterwards find a metal case containing perfectly fine diabetes medication just in front of them. Hell yeah. The setup for this happened at the beginning when Day's friend was just about to leave. He, by accident, dropped this metal case into the drainage system without noticing it. Sophisticated screenwriting 101. The two then hear a motorized noise coming from above and check what's happening and see someone skydiving? Now, thinking this is their ticket out, they once again goes back to the pool but finds that it's basically just a drone being flown by someone that is not there. But how could this thing be flown if whoever flies it isn't able to see where the heck it's going? I mean, there must be a camera attached for that reason alone, meaning yeah, this should be a pretty safe bet to get help. Not in this film though. No, my friends. It flies out again, but just as it flies out again, there is a new idea that presents itself. A barbed wire that just conveniently is right there, to climb it up, I guess. And he does so, basically gets up there, falls back into the pool, at least sprains his ankle, is attacked by the gator whose children he ate, survives the attack, somehow survives until the nightfall, lures the gator away from the drainage system, jumps back in, and has the idea to, instead of going back to his girlfriends, take the other way instead and see where that leads. Classic. Let's be honest here, friends. None of that would have happened if this dude got out of this pool the second he knew he would be stuck if he didn't. I don't know about y'all, but it's kind of hard to empathize with this guy. Let me know if you agree or not. Now, to sum up, the probably most melodramatic ending I have ever witnessed in my entire existence. I mean, Titanic would get a 1 out of 10 compared to this one. Let's start with the probably 15th escape option that disappears as quickly as it made it into the script, okay? Another parachute drone flying into the pool. But this time it gets stuck, and so this time it must be retrieved, and so therefore the two guys flying it come to the pool, which is now empty because both our characters are somewhere underground. They pick up the ladder that apparently lies up there, enter the pool, clearly overlook the alligator that must have turned into a chameleon by now, get out again and disappear just the moment our character glimpses at them by re-emerging from the drain pipe. Yeah, I know. Not only did those two just disappear, but the gator just reappeared, blocking the way to the ladder the two dudes just used. Not only that, but the rain that has started in the last 25 seconds is already about to drown our girlfriend. So, what is the obvious conclusion here? Well, it's a bare-knuckle fight with the alligator after 7 days of starvation. What did you think, dude? Now, despite literally being bitten multiple times, that I can't show you guys, but it looks ridiculous, our character still beats the animal. And as he's finally, for the love of God, lumping over to the ladder, seemingly already finally escaping this nonsensical madness, the concrete pipes this ladder is for some reason attached to start rolling the opposite direction and pull the ladder back up and out of reach. On top of that, guess who's back? The alligator. That's right. He attacks Day again, which really should have killed him for the 7th time, goes to target his head, is stopped by the magic wand again that he sticks into his mouth, and as our character catches a break, we hear the dog whistle being used by the girlfriend, signaling that she is in grave danger, which triggers the dog to react and leap into the pool while still being chained. I don't know what the is happening, guys, but this is the most ridiculous ending I have ever experienced in my entire life. I kind of love it, not gonna lie. You can't come up with stuff like this sober. I refuse to believe that. Now anyway, using the now hanging dog to climb up the poolside, he makes it atop, breaks the grid, preventing the girlfriend from getting out, and resuscitates her for the last 3 minutes or so. And that is literally the ending of this film. I need a break right now. I need to go for a walk. I catch you again next week. Take easy. Take.